Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike. I got a review for you. This is Teen Titans Academy from DC Comics, issue number 7. Um, I'll get into the Who's What's Why's Wins first. It's written by Tim Sheridan. We got art by Rafa Sandoval. We got colors by Alex Sinclair and letters by Rob Leigh. Um, Going into Teen Titans Academy, catching you up. Um, Currently, they were the Teen Titans were following Greg, and it led to this kind of like whole Halloween like type adventure thing where it was like zombies, and it wasn't really that. It was Grodd, and the whole issue was them. Most of the Teen Titans, new Academy, the new members were finding out that Greg. And he does look like a gorilla, but they found out that his uncle is none other than Gorilla Grodd. None of them had put the two and two together, but he kept mentioning that his uncle was, a gorilla, and that he was big into world domination, but they thought he was just talking about somebody that was like big on reading about world domination, that kind of thing. So they eventually followed Greg, and that's when the whole like zombified humans come up, and they weren't zombies, they were just being mind controlled by Grodd. And at the end of the issue, it makes it look like Greg is working for Grodd, and that's where this, issue number 7 takes place. It starts off with the Batpack family members that are still on the beach because they were kind of vacationing at the moment, and they are worried about Chupacabra, and of course he was one of the members that was after Greg. But eventually we catch up with the members who are with Gorilla Grodd and Greg, and they're kind of mixed in between the mind zombies. They haven't been found out or captured or anything like that yet, but they're just mixed in the crowd. At the moment, Grodd is moving his forces to Manhattan, and his plan is to use Teen Titans Tower to attach like some kind of device where he'll be able to take over like all of Manhattan or something like that, and then start off like city by city. The members that are following him, like Chupacabra and Stitch and a couple of the other members, I'm drawing a blank at their names because I'm really bad with names, but eventually they start trying to come up with a plan to get to Greg, because one of them still believes that Greg is good. The rest of them are kind of like, look at him, he's with Greg, he's with Grodd and this and that. Eventually Greg does break away from Grodd, and he does end up talking to the group, and he's kind of amazed that they're even there and scared and this and that. But he still does show signs that he's working for Grodd. But eventually he does kind of break aside, and he tells this one girl that things aren't what it seems, that kind of thing. They need to abandon, what they're trying to do and that kind of stuff. And eventually when this happens, they get alerted to the front of the kind of march that's going on, and some of the other Teen Titan members, have shown up to stop Grodd from doing what he's doing. And of course, instantly they end up getting taken over by Grodd. At that part, they kind of show like Grodd making it all the way up to the tower, and he is pretty much he's like setting up the device and everything. And eventually the team that was following him, there is one girl that is left, and she has been real close with Greg ever since the comic, Teen Titans Academy has started. And we do find out that he does have some psychic abilities like Grodd, but they're just not as intense, or he doesn't think they are as Grodd's is. But he is able to shield her mind from him, but he's doing it at like an extreme like risk and health to himself by doing so. He eventually tells her that he needs her to go get in contact with the Teen Titans, which she does, and they show up, and they immediately get mind taken over by Grodd. And eventually, like all those plans fail, and of course Grodd figures out that Greg had betrayed him, and there's this whole conversation on top of Teen Towers between Grodd and Greg, and it's kind of like the final showdown. And basically Grodd just tells him that he's disappointed. He knew that he was going to betray him, the whole intelligence, 5 steps ahead of somebody kind of thing. And they just kind of like permit to like beat each other down, but they don't do it like physically. They do it like in like a mind battle or whatever, and Grodd eventually comes out victorious, and at the end, as he's gloating, he's kind of revealed that Greg is a lot more psychic attuned than he let on, because the whole thing was a big mirage, and he had tricked Grodd into thinking that he had won and did the whole fight and everything, which he did not. In the end, Grodd does end up laying like one punch before the fight even started, but that was all that happened, because after that, Greg kind of like kicked in his psychic gear and did this whole like, mirage mind trick thing. But it did give the T-Titans to work in the background, and they did dismantle the machine and everything. And eventually, like, there is a huge battle, like another real mind battle between Grodd and Greg. And it kind of comes out as like a draw, but Grodd kind of like sees Greg as kind of like not an equal, but looks at him a different light. Even since this comic started in the last issue, it's not like Grodd looked down on Greg. He loves his nephew and that kind of stuff. It's more along the lines that he kind of picks at him because he's siding with the humans, and he's doing the hero kind of thing. The very end of the issue shows Grodd and Belle Reve locked up after being captured by the Teen Titans, and basically Greg sent him a note, and it's probably one of the best parts of this comic. But in the note, he basically says that his life is thanks to Grodd and him standing up to humans and this and that, and that's why they allow him to be out in public and accepting and stuff like that. But he does believe that there's a different way to achieve all species unities without it being a world domination kind of thing. And he understands that Grodd isn't going to understand that, but he still loves him as an uncle, and he hopes to keep him in his life. It was a really badass letter. But that's where the comic kind of leaves off with you see the camera or the angle panning out of off of Grodd leading the letter, and he has already escaped out of Belle Reve. And it just says that he's going to do some hunting in the next issue. Maybe take some revenge on Teen Titans. I don't know. It might not even be Grodd. But that was this issue. Again, overall, the art is stellar. It has been since this comic started. It is Teen Titans. It's a whole new batch of Teen Titans, and I think that's why I'm liking it, because none of these characters are known. And a bunch of them are pretty cool iterations. One of my favorite are the Bat Pack, It's just 3 kids that are Batman fans that are trying to be detectives like Batman himself. I kind of like all that. But, overall story and everything, you could call this a filler issue because it didn't really, move the main arc or anything, but it was still a great issue. It was fun, it was easy to read, easy to follow, and it actually gave you a little more insight to Grodd, which is kind of cool. They always show him as this monstrous villain type thing, so it's kind of cool to even know that he values family or kind of thing, or loves his nephew, and vice versa. But hey, that's this review. I got more coming. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good junk, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye!